We are plausibly live in the corner of Craftsbury Lane and Bristol here in the great city of McKinney, Texas. Welcome back to another episode of Dynamics Chatter. You having fun? Yeah. All right. Welcome back to another episode of Dynamics Chatter. We haven't come out with a blog in a while, so we're having to do a little multitasking. We're going to try to play golf, blog, and, parent our children all at the same time. In this episode, we are going to look at something that drives me insane, which is forms. There's no reason it should take that long, or it should cost us that much money, or do that many hours just to kick out a form. So today I'm going to show you how you can use the Excel add-in. What are you trying to do? Trying to get crazy? I'm going to show you how to use the Excel add-in to create a purchase order form and how, again, just to challenge how the right data can make us think differently about our ERP. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your continued support of Dynamics Chatter. So what we're going to do is jump in here, and we're going to go to accounts payable. We're going to go to the all purchase orders. And really, the beauty of this is we can use the Excel tools in order to give us the forms that we used to have to do development on. So what I'm going to do here is download the out-of-the-box purchase order template from the Excel dropdown. I'm going to go ahead and save that now. I'm going to save it somewhere. I'm going to save it as something, and then I'm going to start editing. So I said enable editing. I'm going to come here now and click design to change the design. And then what I'm going to initially do here is get rid of the what's in there. So now I'm going to and as you can see, it got rid of my template. So now I'm going to add purchase orders. So there's really kind of two components here. I can add field level stuff and I can add table level stuff. So what I'm doing here is I'm adding my field level stuff. So this basically is just kind of one value per cell. What it will do is grab the first value. So if you didn't narrow this down for just one purchase order, it would grab the first vendor. But since I'm going to be narrowing this down by an individual purchase order, I'm okay to do this because there's only one vendor in the list and there's really only going to be one record. So now I'm going to go ahead and add a new data source, and it's a related data source here called purchase order lines. Okay, this is where I'm going to build the table of the line information that I want to add. This same functionality works the same for journals. We've done this for invoices. We've done this for project invoices. It's just such a handy thing to have. We started out using this as a workaround, and it ended up becoming the final solution because it just works so much better than the amount and the level of effort that had to be put in place for development. So again, now that I'm on the table level here, I can move these things around. I can move them up. I can move them down. But the key thing here, one of the nicest pieces, is what we just clicked there, which is the formula. Okay, what the formula allows me to do is put in a column that will calculate. So if you notice here, I'm using the at quantity and the at unit price to get the total. Okay, basically that formula, you use the same formula you would in any other table column that you're adding. But the rest of this here now is just formatting in Excel. So I'm going to hit refresh here, and I'm going to make sure that I'm going to format and change this from a count to a sum. I'm going to put some columns and some decimals in here. But again, the rest of this is just Excel. You can make this look very nice. You can have a very nice table. But again, you just have to really understand kind of what you can and can't do here from an Excel standpoint and from a data standpoint. And we'll talk about that here in a second. So once I have my template, I save it, which I did. And I'm going to go into Office Integration. And I'm going back to the document templates. This is where the list of document templates show up in your drop downs for all the different forms you're in. So what I'm going to do here is you could overwrite the existing one. And this one's probably a good example of that because there's really nothing to it. It's one column. That's really not very helpful. Or you can do what we're doing here, which is create a new template and link that in. And it'll create, in a second, you'll see that a third drop-down node was put underneath the Excel drop-downs here. So now that we have this here and we save it, and we save our template back in, and we can do it by company. That's important, especially if you're using a logo or something like that. But now if I go back to my all purchase orders, now I'm just going to create a new one. The key thing when you're doing this is just there are some limitations, like for your table drop downs, but more importantly, like do all the fields you need exist in the out of the box data entity? But again, I'd rather spend money adding to the data entity and adding those fields to the data entity than I would modifying every single form you have. I think it's just a much better path to go down. But again, you need to understand, like before you start doing any development, really draw this out and design it before you really start down this process. That's really probably the key step in this to make sure you can do what you need to do. So I'm going to go ahead and confirm that. And once I confirm it, whether this is this could be an old PO or a new PO, you see now I've got a third dropdown called purchase order confirmation that I can now export from. So that's new. You didn't see that the last time we were on this form. Once I drop that down, you'll see here now that it's going to go from 4 lines in our old purchase order number to 2 lines in our new purchase order number, just as soon as we hit refresh here. So we're going to enable the content, and now we didn't have to spend any development work. In under 5 minutes, you now have a new purchase order form that you can send out to your vendors with the required information.
Yeah, we made it. All right, so we tied on the front, right? And I beat you by 2 on the back. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right, so you owe me, how many cookies you owe me? Oh, you owe me like 3 cookies, right? Can I have some cookies? Can I have the cookies?
No.
All right. Hey, thank you so much for joining us on Dynamics Chatter. Hope you liked our episode. We love being out at Summit this week. We really enjoyed the speakers. We enjoyed the community. Thank you guys for for tracking us down in the hall. It was great seeing you. It was great being with such a great group of people. Thank you for your continued support. Hopefully you like our episode here on purchase order forms and how much it drives me insane how much we spend on SSRS. But again, thank you for your support. Come back next time. We'll love to see you. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Dynamics Chatter.
Yay.
Yeah. All right.